Hi, this is Chelsea Lambert with Lex Tech Review, and I am here in the TimeSolv booth with Scott. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thanks for having me, Chelsea. Thanks for swinging by.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm really excited to be here because actually I'm going to grab one of these real quick. We did a story on TimeSolv about how one of your clients, Tom Kirkendall, transitioned from time slips to TimeSolv.
Right.
And it was probably one of the best, funnest interviews that I have had with an attorney in a while. I mean, he was like, I'm going to have to run these two programs side by side for 2 months, and they did the migration in a week.
Right.
And, I think, one of the reasons that I stopped by today is that I really want to hear more about that story, because there are so many law firms, all of you out there using Time Matters or time slips, that feel like you're stuck, that you can't make a change, that you know that there might be a better way, but you're paralyzed by the thought of migration.
Right.
And really what came out of this story, which you can read on our website or stop by the TimeSolv booth if you're still here, is that it doesn't have to be that painful.
Right.
So can you speak to the migration and his story, if it folds in?
There's so many law firms, they feel like, yeah, I'm going to dance with the devil I know. I'd rather do that than that fear of moving on to a new program because it's just going to take too long, it's too much work, and so on. But what we developed about 18 months ago was the ability to migrate all historical time slips data into TimeSolv. So every time entry, every invoice, everything you've ever done in time slips can move over into TimeSolv, where most other providers, and what we used to be able to do was only provide a snapshot conversion, kind of like where we are at this moment in time with your clients. And if you wanted to look up an old invoice from 5 years ago, you couldn't. Now you can when moving from time slips. And in the last 18 months, we've moved well over 50 law firms off of time slips into TimeSolv, because we developed a process now that you can take somebody with 17 years worth of data like Tom Kirkendall, and because we have enough experience now and practice with that, move it into TimeSolv. We'll analyze the data, make sure it looks good. You do spot checks as the firm. You're looking at all the data. Does this all look good? Yep, let's go live with it. And we can go, we're pretty tight now. For a solo firm like Tom, it was less than a week. We've done as big a firm as a 30-person law firm that did a full time slips conversion of about 10 years of historical data. So we've kind of run the gamut of conversions, and time slips was the first one that we really got into doing. We're now actively pursuing ways to convert data from Jarvis, data from Tabs 3, from some other sort of legacy providers that, for lack of a better word, some firms feel trapped by. And they're good programs. They, some of them still are very happy with it. But if you do want to move to a cloud-based system and you want to bring some of your data with you, we feel like that's a great market for us to be into. And we're really excited about being able to offer this for firms now.
Yeah, absolutely. And the I know one of your features that we talked about in our review, so check out the case study and the review, is you call it the timekeeping walk of shame. So locking down, if you've got multiple associates and it's like forcing them to enter their time, and you guys actually lock it at a certain point so that they can't.
There's a couple of ways that you can really fine tune and make sure that the associates are tracking their time forcefully, and that you're working time entries against a budget. So there's two sort of walks of shame that you can do with TimeSolv. One is we have a lockout date. You could say, hey, as of this day on March 9th, you can't enter any time previous. So if your lawyers don't have it in, they have to walk down to the hallway and say, I have a time entry from 3 days ago, I didn't get in. So that raises some flags. The other thing we have is the ability to build a matter budget. So ahead of time, before you start your matter, you build out a budget, you assign tasks to your timekeepers with hours. And then you can, again, check a box that says, if you make a time entry that goes past that budget, you're locked out. Walk of shame. Yeah. Now you can keep the box unchecked and you get a yellow kind of warning that you're going above budget. But it's the idea of knowing in real time whether your lawyers are putting in all the time they should, and if you're actually meeting the budget that you set and developed within TimeSolv.
Yeah, absolutely great feature set. And another really, really attractive pricing note on TimeSolv is that you only pay for the time that you keep. So you're only paying for those timekeepers. You're not paying for a user and across the entire firm.
Right, exactly, and that is a differentiator in that the way our pricing model works with a subscription-based, monthly price point is only timekeepers pay for their seat. If you have support, and a lot of law firms, you might have 5 attorneys and 5 support people, and they're maybe not as efficient as they could be. You're only going to be paying for those timekeepers. You're paying for 5 seats, not 10 seats, and that is those support people can put in time for all the other timekeepers if you don't have a policy where the lawyers are putting in the time themselves. But you should. You should have a time tracking policy in which all the attorneys are putting in the time themselves.
Agree. One last note before we go, categorizing TimeSolv. I love how you guys say it's practice management light. So for all the attorneys out there, I meet them at conferences all over the country. I don't want full-blown practice management.
Right.
I'm coming from a time slips, or time matters, but really all I really use it for is invoicing. This is a great cloud-based product to transition them into, especially like if you're doing invoices off of, Excel or Word, or they're all over the place.
You're using QuickBooks for your invoicing, which
QuickBooks
is clunky in creating and sending your invoices efficiently.
And then IOLTA management or anything like that?
Right.
Yep.
Full trust accounting, a lot of great trust features that allows you to auto pay an invoice from a trust account, to replenish the trust account if it falls below a certain level. It'll automatically be placed on the invoice. We have really strong trust accounting features that frankly came from TimeSlips customers that were coming to us saying, we love that component of TimeSlips, and we're like, then we need to develop it. So we built it, and away we go.
And so one other question that I have for you is consultant network.
Right.
So in that migration, you guys are doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Right.
But let's say that, I had a TimeSlips or Time Matters consultant, and how do we, now move, do you have that support system for them?
We built an entire partnership program because of our work of moving people from TimeSlips to TimeSolv. So we've specifically targeted a lot of TimeSlips consultants who have been working on TimeSlips for years, and they've sort of seen the writing on the wall that a lot of firms want to move off onto a cloud-based system. So we now have close to 50 certified consultants around the country. Almost all of them have deep roots in TimeSlips, and they can do some of that heavy lifting as well to prepare the data, because part of any transition is making sure the data is prepared properly, it's massaged properly, it's in a right, good place, because some firms have been using TimeSlips in funky ways over the years, and that funky way is not going to go away just because you move the data into a new system. It can be moved over in a funky way too. So consultants are very helpful in making sure that data migration is a smooth process.
Excellent. Well, if you are considering a change, I strongly encourage you to check out TimeSolv, read the case study, read the review, get a feel for it, and then reach out to Scott. And where can they learn more?
They can go to timesolv.com, TimeSolv.com, start a 30-day free trial.
Awesome.
All it costs you is a name and email address, and you get the full function feature of TimeSolv during that 30 days.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Scott.
Thanks,
Great to
Chelsea.
see you.
Appreciate you too.
No problem.